Donovan's Delight by Carter Brown, 1979. Definitely, I decided, a damsel in distress. Why the hell else was she running barefoot through the grass? Barefoot, bare-assed, bare-breasted, and the rest of her just plain bare. Well, not plain bare exactly. More like generously bare when you get right down to it. Her long black hair streamed out behind her, and full breasts bounced copiously with every stride. It was a sight to make sore eyes recover real fast. It was one of those idyllic late summer afternoons that are a kind of rarity in England. The day had given me a sudden yearning for a genuine old-fashioned picnic, so I had my man pack a hamper with all the essentials: foie gras sandwiches, vodka, and ice-cold pure apple juice, and then we had gone adventuring. Not all that far, really. About 3 fields away from the house I was renting for a couple of weeks. Hick's feet gave out, so he said. I told him if the hamper was too heavy, it was all his own fault for bringing too much beer. The girl was running too fast for pleasure. She kept on looking back over her shoulder the whole time, and I found myself idly curious as to why. Hicks finished drinking for the moment, lowered the empty bottle, and then his eyes focused on the running girl. Bloody hell, he said emotionally. It's bleeding Lady Godiva, mate. No horse, I reminded him. Wrong, he said, and pointed. The horse had just come into view as it appeared over a hedge at the side of the field. It came on at a full gallop, heading directly towards the girl. She looked over her shoulder again, saw the horse and rider, and let out a thin scream. Looks like she don't fancy him, Hicks said. The girl was about 30 yards away from us, still running desperately and looking close to exhaustion. The rider was gaining on her rapidly, a thick-set, heavily built guy, someplace around 40, with coarse red hair and a matching mustache. The girl made another 5 yards before he caught up with her. His right hand swung high in the air, and then the riding crop descended with brutal force across the girl's rump. She let out a frantic scream of pain, then fell forward into the grass and lay still. We should do something about this, I said. You mean, you want me to do something about it? Hicks grunted. You guessed, I said in a pleased voice. Hicks took the .38 Magnum out of his belt holster and fired a shot into the air. The horse shied violently in reaction, nearly throwing his rider. Piss off, Hicks said loudly. The freckled face of the rider turned the color of his hair and mustache. He made a choking sound deep in his throat, then pointed his horse straight at Hicks and dug his heels into its sides. The horse seemed to leap forward again. I got out of the way real fast and watched interestedly to see what Hicks would do. The riding crop was raised again, ready to lash down across the side of his face. At the last moment, Hicks stepped to one side, ducked under the flailing riding crop, and, with Magnum reversed so he held it by the barrel, gave the rider a vicious blow across his left kneecap. The guy hooped in agony and, understandably, completely confused his horse, which came to a sudden stop. The rider continued straight on over the top of its head and hit the ground with a nasty thump, then rolled over 3 or 4 times. Hicks retrieved the riding crop, walked over to where the guy lay prone on the ground, and gave him a fearful blow across his ass. It was a definite stimulus. The guy roared with equal parts of pain and fury, then jumped up on his feet. For a moment, he teetered desperately. Then his left knee gave way under him, and he fell sideways. Hicks hit him again with the riding crop, and it seemed to give the guy the same sudden stimulus. This time, he got smart and was more careful. Favoring his bad knee, he managed to stay on his feet. I told you to piss off the first time, mate, Hicks told him, but you wouldn't bleeding well listen. So get back on your horse and piss off now, before I lose my temper and do you a permanent injury. I guess the guy didn't actually foam at the mouth, though he came real close, but then the last vestiges of sanity prevailed. With Hicks holding the riding crop in one hand and the gun in the other, only the ultimate masochist would have stayed around to argue with him. The guy limped painfully over to where his horse waited patiently, somehow managed to get back into the saddle, then rode off slowly into the sunset. You did that real well, I said. And a lot of bloody help you were, Hicks said scornfully. I could have got myself hurt there, mate. But you didn't, I reminded him. I had explicit faith in you the whole time. I walked over to where the girl was still lying face down in the grass. Her nicely rounded bottom was still quivering, and the 2 bright angry red wheels that ridged the flesh looked like they still hurt. Hi there, I said politely. She lifted her head cautiously and looked at me with haunted gray eyes. Has he gone? She whispered. Back to wherever he came from, I guess, I said. My man Hicks persuaded him not to stay. Did he kill him? Just banged up his knee a little and hit him a couple of times with his own riding crop, I said. No sing permanent. I wish he had killed him. Maybe next time, I said. Would you like to come back to the house for a drink? You're crazy, she said. Here I am, stark naked, exhausted from all that running, and in fear of my life, and you talk to me as if we'd just met at some damn stupid cocktail party. You should come back to the house with us, I told her. We can give you a drink, find some kind of clothes for you, and rub some cold cream into your ass, Hicks added helpfully. He had snuck up on us while I wasn't looking. His face isn't exactly reassuring at the best of times. His hair is thick and black, his eyes so deep a blue they are almost black, and his nose has obviously been broken a couple of times. A livid knife scar, a relic from his boyhood days as a mercenary